Now, over the years, when I do the hiring, I have my own framework that I use in order to reduce the bad hiring percentage. Do you have a framework, or do you implement a form, or do you use some type of method?
I really try to focus on making sure that, first of all, various people ask questions that they believe are important to them. So I usually ask for, look, let's assess someone based on evaluate their potential for whatever position based on these dimensions. How are they in communication and collaboration? How are they in being a strategic thinker? Not everybody is, depending on the role. We don't really, we delve into that or not. How good are they at analysis? You mentioned something that's critical. How good are they at learning? I think the notion that someone comes in and can say that I know everything there is to know about whatever topic it is that they say that's their expertise is just not correct. You can't be an expert completely on everything all the time. And so we look into those dimensions. The other is, of course, there are the questions around how you actually do the work. Are you, if you are someone who is a systems architect or says you're a systems architect, well, are you? Explain what you've done in the past. And so, what I really try to encourage people to do within the context of interviewing, and I do it myself, is to listen carefully, look for clues, and really try to match your questions to what you think are the most important needs for the role for which they're interviewing.
One of the things I have seen in the past, David, is that we hire people who has all the qualities that we are looking for, but they are not right cultural mix for the organization. So how does culture plays into your entire hiring process?
Well, it's a very important question, and of course the first thing is you have to be very open and honest with yourself about what the culture really is in the organization which you have. So for example, years ago I moved into a culture, started a job where the culture was one of very, very fast pace in some areas, and then in areas that so for example, the actual speed with which people expected you to respond in an email, for example, and it was broad this way, right? Everybody has different expectations, but this was a cultural thing for the whole company. And yet there were gaps in terms of speed where it took you so long to get certain things done that you would think that this was a company that had 500,000 employees. And so, well, what does that mean? What's the cultural fit we were looking for when we hired people? Well, we needed people who were responsive and very service-oriented, but we were also trying to change the culture a little bit. And so we wanted people who were very good at collaborating, but would get a little bit discouraged and want to do something about it when it came to getting things done because it was taking too long. And so we would ask questions explicitly around, demonstrate, have you been in a situation where you have had to push something along more quickly and people were resistant? And so we listened carefully for those answers, and the number of people who would interview would be sharing the feedback that they received. And so, I think you have to tailor the questions you ask to the cultural needs that you believe the organization has. And if you want to change the culture, or if you're expecting that this person needs to fit into the culture, it really depends. But it's critical, because you're right. Everything can look good, and that's a deal killer. You won't be able to actually be successful.